Hey, what's up, denizens? Time for another DENDAO governance call. So today is January 19th. We do these calls on Thursday at 3 p.m. Eastern. And the objective is to just give some routine updates, take questions, be open to any denizen who wants to join, and discuss Den stuff. So that's why we're here. We've got Greg with us from Rivet. Hello, thanks for joining us on this call, sir.
Hey guys, happy to be here as always.
Happy to have you. So, all right, let's go through the agenda completely, and then we'll go back to the top and actually hit each point. There is, if you notice, a link to join at the top. You can find this post in the DENDAO layer. All right, so we've got January LCP results. So those are in. We'll go look at who won, and I think we've got some advanced recommendations for artwork on at least one of them. There is a DENDAO governance issue to vote on, so go vote on that. Anybody can vote on the DENDAO GIs. You do not have to have lot. You just have to be on Den and be using it, and your behavior will dictate your governance weight. We'll go into that. And so we will clarify what happens if a winning layer via most lore ends up in the runners-up list, as well as what happens in the event of a tie during the LCP. And then we're going to do a quick update on evaluator reputation and how to earn a good one. That is a new concept for Den. We have been running without evaluator reputation. Going forward, we'll have some. So that'll be cool too. And then, of course, any community input and feedback that we didn't hit on is fair game. So let's go back to the top and look at winners. So for the LCP, what do we got? LCP results. So for this month, we did number one ranked by unique voters. There's two categories. One, we count individual unique denizens. It doesn't matter how much they vote on it, just that they voted. And then the other category by total lore committed, because you can vote as many times as you want, or as many times as you have lore to vote with. So in that category, we picked number 8 and number 21. So number one by unique voters, this is the number one layer that the most individual, unique, distinct, wrong D word, number of denizens voted for. Star Wars, who was proposed by Alxons in November of 2021. And
Awesome.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, I like Star Wars a lot. I know a lot of people like Star Wars a lot. So maybe from now on, when I'm talking to people about my Star Wars nerd stuff, I can be like, yo, there's a place, there's a layer for that. Kind of like there's an app for that, but now there's a layer for that, right?
Yep.
we can get that in there.
It's a layer that binds the universe together. It's fantastic.
Yes. And I was talking about that a little bit in the we do have a movies and TV shows layer that's like a general purpose movies layer, and I realized that we have somebody that is on Den already who used to run a Star Wars like merch products shop thing, and they had their own artwork for it that they showed off in the movies layer. So I was
based on the Rebel Alliance symbol.
Yeah, so I was like,
that's super cool.
Sounds like a perfect avatar for the Star Wars layer. So that's what I'm going to propose next week when these layers go live. I'm going to propose that as the avatar. The little, whenever you go click on layers, the avatar is the little thing that fits into a circle over there, right?
Well, I was going to propose the World Economic Forum logo, but I guess this one's better.
Yeah, that one's pretty good. So Star Wars. And then number 8 by lore committed was, oh, by the way, Star Wars, 3.9 million lore committed. By a long shot, more than the other two combined. 3.9 million. That means there will be 3.9 million NFTs, individual NFTs created as ownership governance tokens for the Star Wars layer, which is pretty cool. That's great.
It's gotta be some kind of NFT record, right?
I think maybe if you look at the Den collection on OpenSea, and I swear we'll get to the other two layers that won.
It's a lot.
Yeah. But if I go to OpenSea and just look at Den, not to derail the conversation too much, but there are, it counts. So here's the way it counts. These are 1155s. So each individual one here has a bunch of them that are in that category. So each NFT is actually a category of NFTs, a layer, right? So this is all, you can go browse through those and stuff. So I think the total is in the, like, I don't know, mega millions. Y'all like mega millions? We got mega millions NFTs. Nice. Of them. So yeah, it's probably some kind of record. Especially the way that we mint the LCPs when they win, we're churning out millions of individual ones at once. And I'm hearing that we have 192 million in total on Den. So
that's awesome.
Yeah, pretty good. Before even adding this month, right? So there'll be.
We should throw a party when that hits 1 billion.
Yeah, we're gonna hit 200 million next. Maybe not this month, but the following, right? So at the end of February, we'll probably hit 200 million.
Yep.
But yeah, at a billion.
2025, man. Sometime in 2025, it's gonna happen.
Yeah. Okay. Who knows? Yeah, billion NFTs under the same collection. Nice. All right. So number 8 was with 842,000 lore committed among 33 unique voters was Selfie. So we have a photography layer. We also have an awe, like a cute layer. And both of those layers have seen a lot of selfies in them. So it seems like there's a pretty good demand for a place to put your selfies. So now there's a distinct category for that. That was proposed by Dragonlight XX, March of 21. And then we have quotes in number 21 by Lore Committed. That one with 30 unique voters, 498 lore committed. So they'll have 500,000 approximately.
Prepare for spam.
498. I assume that means 498,000 lore committed, not 498 individual ones. And so that's 500,000 for them as well.
Yeah, I'm going to upload a quote a day over the next year.
We're going to do a live edit. So this is on-chain edit. The original post is on the blockchain. This update will also be on the blockchain, and you can get a transaction for each individual edit. Both of them are on-chain. How about that? So, well, the second one 8 seconds ago isn't on-chain yet, as we saw, but it'll be there in a minute. All right, 498,000 lore committed. So they got 500,000 NFTs minting next week as well. So that's for quotes. So now we just need somebody with a Star Wars selfie and a quote on the bottom of it, a Star Wars quote, to get all the 3 of those into one. The proposers, in this case, it was Alexa in December of 21. All 3 of these proposers will get an additional 10,000 lot on top of whatever lore they committed for being the proposer of that layer. All right. So congratulations to the layer winners. Over the weekend, think about if there's any runners up that you would like to get created too, because we do have a way to create layers to make them win, basically push them over the finish line if they didn't win, if there's demand for it. So if you're the first runner up, you will have the option, and I say you, anybody can do this that voted for it. Anybody in the community can vote, can pay the fee. You can split it up and, say, like, come up with your own solution and bring the matter in collectively, however you want to do it. But first runner up is 200 matter, and then it increments by 200 up to the 5th runner up, which would be 1,000 matter. If your layer that you want, let's say you've been, 2 or 3 months now, you're like, man, my layer is just not winning and I really want it. The other option is to go down to any layer proposal that has at least 8 unique voters, and you can pay a 2,500 matter fee to create any of those layers as well. So there's a lot of options. If you don't want to do it the free way, you can do it the fee way. And of course, if it's not something that you want just anybody to be a member of, and you want to kind of control who gets to have these lot and who gets invited, maybe you want to control whether it's a public or a private layer. Maybe you're building something and you want the tools for governance and collaboration, but you don't want it to be public. or maybe you want it to be public at a later time, just not right now. We have fully customizable layers too that you can purchase, and the fee on that would be right now it's set at either 1 ether or a 33% discount if you pay in matter, so 0.66 ether worth of matter. If you want to just customize your own, you can do custom governance setups. You can do we've had DAOs use NFTs from Ethereum that were completely unrelated to Den. We can use those as governance tokens instead of the lot if you want. All kinds of cool stuff that we can do. So there's all your options, and there's your winners. And by Sunday night, you need to decide if you want to have any runners up, because you can only get those created before we actually go ahead and start making them next week. So there's your updates on that. Now, a related thing is the DENDAO GI that we've got. And so you'll see if you go to your, if you hit the gavel icon and you go to the DENDAO GIs, which is, if you're looking at the top of the screen, there's some icons. It's the one with the dragon phoenix, the Den logo. I don't know if it's supposed to be called a dragon phoenix, but that's what I call it. Or at the top of the LCP. Oh, you know what? I was misinforming you. It's a LCP layer proposal. No, it's a DENDAO proposal. I'm misinterpreting the game of charades right now. That's what's happening. So DENDAO proposal it is. And what we're doing is we're clarifying something in like an edge case where something ties or something wins in one category, but is also a runner-up in the other category. That's what this is about. So the post is about what if there's a tie, and the proposal is to make it to where either one of them could pay the lower fee, but the first one to pay that lower fee gets the lower fee, and the next one has to pay the next tier up lower charge, right? So if it's the example that's used in here, if there's two second runners up, then the first denizen to notify the team of their intent to create a layer will pay the 400 matter fee, and the second denizen that notifies the team will pay 600 matter. I explained that wrong, I think. Is that right? No, that's right. Yeah, because it goes up by 2. No, I'm right. Stop doubting yourself, Dave. So yeah, first one to get it created and pay the fee gets the lower option. And then if you don't make it, you get to pay the higher one, I guess. So go vote for that. I think it makes sense. And then there was, in the discussion, Alexon's brought up a good point. What if there's one that wins in the like the number 8 and the number 21 that we're doing right now? Like, what if there's something that wins by total lore committed that is also a runner-up in the by unique voter category, right? So from memory, I have to go back and verify this. From memory, I think we've encountered that once before, and we did exactly what Alexon suggested, which is don't count it as one of the runners-up, because it already won. You can't pay to create it anyway because it's already won and being created. So the next one would be the next runner-up, right? So you basically skip it if it won the other category. And I don't think we need another DENDAO proposal for that. But if anybody disagrees, that's what we're here for, and we can do it. So that's some clarification on those edge cases. I am for I am makes sense to you. So there we go. And thank you for voting. I am for I am has already voted on that. So good. All right. So let's see what is next on our agenda. That would be the DENDAO and then the clarification. Oh yeah, update on the evaluator reputation and how to earn a good one. So this is something that we're in the process of closing out as a dev priorities item. Right now, it is not completely on the production system yet. It is still, this week we had a meeting and decided to make a last minute change that'll make it way better. So that's getting wrapped up. But it's basically done. And so what that means is there's going to be reputation that's how do I explain this? We talked about it before, where the eventual goal is to have every layer be able to set its reputation requirements individually for the type of evaluators or the quality of evaluators that they want voting on stuff in their layer, right? So we will get there, but right now what we've got is our first pass, our first iteration of a reputation system for evaluators, and it holds everyone to the same standard DIN wide. And the implications of it are interesting. It's not anything crazy, and a lot of people won't even notice it. But basically, what you're going to need to do to maximize the matter rewards that you earn from voting on content, whenever you vote something up or down and decide how much on that slider to bet, basically, right? What you're doing is think of it as a content marketplace and a sort of a betting system where you're like, you know what, this content's going to be good or bad, well received or poorly received in this layer, and I bet I'm right. And you can just decide how much on your energy slider to use. When you're doing that, you earn rewards for it. You're going to have to basically just be a little bit more balanced instead of always voting up, always voting down on stuff. Make sure that you're being a little bit more objective, because really what we need for an evaluator to be valuable in what they're signaling to the algorithm is for them, like if there's somebody that's, I don't know how to say it, but bluntly, but if somebody is always voting up or if someone's always voting down, no matter what, it's not really a valuable evaluation. It's not really meaningful data that's coming in. We need people that will vote up and down based on, oh, you know what, maybe these are both on topic, but this one here, actually, like, we've got too many posts that are just like, X, Y, and Z, and it's not great content, so I'm going to vote it down. But I'm going to vote this other stuff up that's similar, but they actually put a little bit more work into it, and it's a post that is, for whatever reason in that particular community, objectively better, right? You got to think about how you're evaluating a little bit more. And the more balanced your up and down ratio is, the more normal your rewards are going to be, right? Another way of saying that is, the less balanced you are, the less you'll earn in rewards just from the evaluating score, though it doesn't apply to like posts. You still get whatever you get from posts as a creator. This only applies to the uptrend evaluator pool and the downtrend evaluator pool. And that's it. So, Greg, question. That was the best I could think of, like, how to simply explain that. Does that make sense to you?
No, totally makes sense. Yeah, I mean, if you if all you do is evaluate that which is good, then your rewards are going to be based on stuff that actually pans out as good. And if all you do is downvote stuff, then half the time you're gonna, or roughly half the time you're gonna be wrong. So try to be as balanced as you can and try to be as objective as you can. Will cause you to up and down vote, hypothetically, right, in some proportion equal to the mean. And because of that, if you are an objective observer who in fact has taste that goes up and down, commensurate with the layer you're voting in, right, then you're going to end up being rewarded more frequently and building your reputation
more or less. So two things to add to that: your taste, or your how your prediction of what other people's taste would be.
And when I say a taste, I mean your sense of whether or not other people in that layer are also going to agree with you with respect to good versus bad content.
And then in addition, and that's all true. In addition to all of that, if you're always voting up, you're going to hit those pools sometimes just by chance, right? Like you said. But also, if you're always literally, there's going to be an attenuation applied if you're always voting up and you're never voting down.
Yeah. If you vote up everything,
Right.
then you're really going to be shooting yourself in the foot. If you only vote up things that uh, if you're an accurate and reliable up only person who just stays away from saying the criticism implied by a downvote, that will also still attenuate your rewards. So it
Yeah. Yeah.
encourages people to
And
be discerning if they're
yeah.
not if they're otherwise inclined to just say something nice or nothing at all.
Right. And I want to get to what I am from what I am for I am is saying in chat too. But yeah, right, exactly that. So like at the end of the day, what we need, if you think of the roles, if you look at that roles of a denizen, there's like an overview and there's an ad that we run sometimes. Um, each of those roles is kind of like traditionally a company would have to hire evaluators, right? To sit in thousands of desks and evaluate content, that kind of thing. And what you need from those people are to identify good and bad posts, right? You need that.
Yeah.
So this is basically requiring the evaluator role to
Mm-hmm.
perform a wider evaluation task
Yeah.
set, where you're
Or if
looking
you're
at
going to
both ends of the
be
spectrum.
right, or if you're going to be someone who like only wants to spot really great stuff and send it up, and your focus is to skip anything that's not that, and you don't really want to bother with thinking whether this deserves downvotes, and you're just looking for everything to dump as much energy as possible into up, then you have to accept the fact that you're going to be less valuable as an evaluator,
Right. Just
and accept a
overall,
lower
yeah.
reward. But that's still okay. You will still be rewarded if you upvote great things.
Yeah,
It's
and
just that
nothing's
if you don't downvote stuff, you won't get as rewarded as somebody who does.
right. Yep. So a couple of questions from chat. I am for I am asks, isn't not voting essentially a downvote? No, not voting is not voting. A downvote actually is a competitive, rewarded, there's a pool for it thing. Not voting or refraining from a vote does not play into your evaluator reputation. Concern item. People might get hurt from downvotes, and could this hurt retention? Some might not understand the process and purpose. Yep, I mean I've gone back and forth about that a lot, and it could be helpful. And actually, this is the next thing that you said in chat, to encourage people to write a response for downvoting for feedback. There are some things that objectively you would downvote because it's spam, right? Stuff like
Yeah.
that.
Right, off topic is really
Oh,
the
I wanted
biggest
to
downvote.
say, and I'm glad that I brought that up just now because I forgot to say one thing, is the way that it's set up is it's going to be important for evaluators who are downvoting content because it is spam or abuse or the wrong layer. It's going to be important for you to tag them as such. And the reason for that is that so the abuse and the spam tags are what we're calling smart tags, where if those tags have consensus, because everybody can vote on the tag. If you see a tag there, you can vote on that tag. Click it once for a thumbs up, click it twice for a thumbs down to vote on that tag. If you don't see it, anybody can tag, right? So if you're voting down on content because it's either objectively not in the right layer, you're talking about Star Wars in the Tolkien layer or something, right? Or it is spam, you're trying to sell Viagra in the selfies layer, spam. If it is abuse, make sure you use those tags, because the system is you're signaling to the system that this is outside of your typical evaluation routine, right?
Right.
These aren't part of evaluating normal content, so they aren't
Right.
counted in your reputation.
Right. It's not a rank. It's a kick. Yeah. And if you don't flag it as a kick, then you're not doing your job as an evaluator.
Yeah. And on that same token, if you are currently downvoting someone's content all the freaking time because you don't like them, which is fine, right? You need to start using the block button, because if you're downvoting somebody across 6 different layers every day of the week, no matter what they post everywhere, right? You should be using the block feature so you no longer have to see their content. Right. Because if enough people do that, the way that Den works, each layer has its own setting for threshold, the block ban threshold. And the way that we handle banning people is that the community is self-regulating to the point where if enough people, like say 13, I think may be the default, right? If 13 people, for example, were to block the same person in the same layer, that's signaling to the Den system that this person is unwanted in this community. And they get banned from that layer automatically. Nobody has to be the bad guy who banned them. The system just does it because enough people have blocked that person's content.
Right.
So
So if you really
of,
want them gone,
yeah,
it behooves you to use block. Not just because it's a healthier way to operate, and nobody wanted to build, like, we set out to build a better social media platform. You don't want to create a sort of a toxic pattern of behavior where a human being invests way too much of their energy into becoming a one-man shadow ban for somebody they dislike.
yeah, and your energy is going to be much more valuable when spent on other content, right? If you know
Right.
somebody's just always like not like understanding what a community is about, just block them. It's fine. You know what I mean? They're not going to know you blocked them. Just block them. So there's my couple of caveats there. If you
Yep.
use the wrong layer, the spam, and the abuse tag, and those tags are within consensus of the community, meaning
Hmm.
like you can't just tag something as spam and then think that you're omitting yourself from the results or whatever, because other people, there's a consensus involved in the tags.
Yep.
Use those when you're downvoting stuff objectively for that reason. Don't forget to use those tags if they're appropriate. And then also use the block button instead of spending so much time downvoting somebody across like 4 or 5 different
Yep.
layers, kind of thing.
And this is where Den starts to feel almost a little like Wikipedia in a way, with the editorial rules and such, and how
Mm-hmm.
content gets moderated and discussed there. So I'm wondering almost, and this is just sort of like an off the cuff, I don't know if this is a good idea or not, but I'm going to suggest it because it's an idea that's
Sure.
germane. Maybe at some point it might be useful to have a community like DENDAO proper, but specifically for people who want to discuss the act of moderation, the act
It could
of
be,
content
yeah.
voting.
There could be a good, um, yeah, that could be
It,
good. There could be like a meta
it's
layer, for
right. Yeah,
example, right?
it's good to think of yourselves as a community of people who are engaging in
Mm-hmm.
the esoteric art of content evaluation.
Yeah, I think right now that would basically be the DIN layer because that's where you would go to
Oh
talk about
yeah,
things
yeah.
that are DIN related, right? So you could say that the DIN layer currently is the meta layer, but you're right. There could be something that if and this would honestly be something that's decided by the DIN layer overall because like
Yeah.
if
Well, it
if
would
that
probably be like if
conversation
it's
gets to be like the majority of the DIN layer conversation, it might at that point, you know what I mean? That might show that there's enough need for a second layer that's
oh
just
yeah,
about the internal, like asking specific questions. How does this work? And what if I do this strategy? And
right.
why
Or
did I
like
earn, whatever,
what's the
whatever the thing
difference
is.
between up and down when you're right in the middle of average?
Mhm.
Like
Yeah, yeah. The nitty gritty stuff where you want to like really like get into the weeds on
yeah,
how to strategize your
yeah.
routine.
Oh
Yeah,
exactly.
that's
And
a decent
this is
idea.
like
For right now, I would say use the DIN layer for that.
oh, absolutely, absolutely, and I think that to that extent, ideas like that. If you have other ones, and I'm sure there are people who are like, well, this would be great if we had this now in order to be better evaluators or to understand evaluation better.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah.
they ended up doing stuff like talk pages on Wikipedia eventually, where they would do stuff like that. Who knows if that is a thing where down the road that will become useful. Don't think about this as a static system though.
Mhm.
If you're a denizen who is interested in specializing in this,
I want to do.
think of it as a framework to start building out a more robust system as we go, because it's up
You
to
know,
you to
s-
decide.
yeah. Since you mentioned it, I'll throw this out there. It's nowhere even. It's not even on the roadmap or on the list of things to vote on for Dev Focus right now. But there's interest, and it's an interesting concept to have basically wikified posts where you could, instead of the creator of the post being the only one who could edit it, to make it editable by uh, anyone who subscribes by
Oh, neat.
consensus. You know what I mean? That kind of thing.
Yeah,
So
like somebody makes an edit and it goes into the queue as
yeah,
a vote.
yeah, yeah, right. Vote on this edit or not, that kind of thing. Yeah. So that could be a precursor to like I would love to have a better like a different Wikipedia approach to see, how that works. So
That's pretty
that's
neat,
getting off into
actually.
a different conversation, but yeah, Wikified post would be fantastic in the future. So I am for I am said encouraging a typing response for a downvote as feedback. Very good idea. A lot of people, when they see that they've been downvoted, do take it personally. And I would attribute that a lot of that to the way that we've been sort of taught to feel about it, just by like the way that the web has evolved and people's relationships on the internet. Reddit, for example, voting emotionally and using it as a way to like slap somebody, became the thing,
Right.
I guess.
It became
And
a weapon in an information war as opposed to a useful tool, which is what it
yeah,
should be.
and because of things like that, people see downvoted content as like somebody's personal attack on them. That's not what we're about, and that's not what it's for. So yeah, it's probably a good idea, especially if you don't know who the person is, you've never seen them before, and you're interacting with them. Maybe send them a note and say like, "Hey,
Right.
nothing
Right, for
personal,
sure.
just not really, seeing the point of even why did you even post this kind of thing,
Right. Or like if you had done this instead of that, it would have made all the difference in the world.
Or I
That type of
downvoted
thing.
your music post because it is only a video link. You didn't explain why you like or don't like this video. Is
Yep.
a good, is a good one. Like,
Right.
oh, you
Exactly.
posted a video to a song. Do you hate this song? Do you love this song? Do you think there's
Yep.
something interesting in this song that other songs don't do? Like, why did you post this? That
Yep.
would be good feedback.
And that's also another thing too. Like I think it's probably worth noting is community owners who are working with their community to make it better. Um, helping people figure out exactly how to evaluate content is a role for your community. Uh, the pinned post on a Reddit or on a subreddit that explains what good content is
Yep.
oftentimes part of the rules.
Yep.
And I mean, the more you can elucidate that, and the more people are. I mean, ideally, you want a situation where the challenge of figuring out how to downvote anything is immense because everything's good, and you just have to sort the good from the great.
Right. And
Um,
what we have right now, we don't have a sticky functionality. That's something that
yep,
we
but
need to
there is
have.
chat. But there is chat.
There is chat, and there also is every layer has a description, which anybody can change. If you are a layer owner, you can propose a change to the text that's in a layer description. So that could also be a place to put a short blurb about what is this layer about and what kind of content do we want.
Yeah,
Could go in there
like
as well.
just a rules post of some sort.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. 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 Cool. So those are the major points for today. I kind of steamrolled through them all, just
Well,
because
hey,
it's been a
I
long
just
day. But
wanted,
yeah,
Dave, I just wanted to pause and like thank you for the work you're doing on this because the idea of content moderation is right now thought of almost exclusively in a top-down, centralized, Klaus Schwab runs the world type of format. And the allegation is if you leave it to regular people to manage themselves, they'll manage themselves into a morass of disgusting, terrible, swampy corners of the internet that nobody wants to see or read, and it would ruin the world, right? That's not the case, and we all know that's not the case. And this is you guys proving it, and I think you guys are doing a great job addressing what would otherwise be a hairy challenge without compromising on the values of communities run themselves. So I just wanted to
well,
say thank you for the work you're doing.
I appreciate that, and thanks for that feedback. I will say that like I'm working with other devs who are doing the majority of the work that you never see. Um, I'm learning some stuff though. I'm kind of like finally picking some stuff up that I
Yeah.
need. So we're working hand in
Well,
hand. There's I like to do this. A lot of people don't. So, kind of keeping updates rolling and talking about what's going on and interacting with people.
yep.
That's how I can contribute.
Well,
Where I can, offer some help with the devs on the limited experience and knowledge I have there, I do. But there's some minds more brilliant than mine who are the real heroes, is what I'll say. So
Well,
I'll pass that along to
too,
them.
to them too. Yeah, free internet is a better internet. And I think we're proving it. So,
Yep, I agree. Yeah, and most importantly, I think, well, everybody has their own thing they think is the most important. And in fact, I Am For I Am was talking about this just yesterday on the coffee show. Like, what are your top 3 things that you like about Den? For me, a big part of it is the influence that advertisers have on, we'll say, Web 2, I guess, and the way that the internet is run. Being able to disrupt that system and say, no, you could do it a different way, is important. And so that's one thing that I think Den stands for. And also the anti-censorship stance, right? Like, obviously there needs to be censorship to a
well,
certain degree at some
otherwise
point.
you'd only need one layer, right? There would be one layer. It'd be called free for all.
But yeah, but communities can do that for themselves. You don't need somebody, deciding what's right for every individual community, that kind of thing, right? You don't need conservatives censoring liberals and liberals censoring libertarians, and like, you can have each individual community kind of self-regulate. So that's the 2 big things for me that I think Den is importantly showing. So yeah, cool. Everybody pat yourself on the back. Everybody that's here, everybody that's on Den, working on it. Amanda, you too. I see you there. Pat yourself on the back. Everybody, we're all doing this, man. So appreciate it. Greg, I can't see you, but I'll take your word for it.
Yep. Oh yeah. The ape's arms are not visible, so he's doing it.
Yeah. All right. So that's what I got. I was gonna just kind of leave it at that, unless there's something else that somebody has. If somebody in chat wants to throw something real quick, we can hit it. Otherwise, we've got some reminders that I'll start reading now. Every week there is, on Tuesday, we have Super Happy Dragon Lucky. That is over in the Dragon Chain layer. That is with Joe Roach, the architect, founder, CEO of Dragon Chain. He takes questions, AMA questions, the top 3 that get voted up. He'll answer or try to answer, or he'll say, I can't answer that. One of those 3 things. Or he'll say, fuck you, if it's a personal attack. So one of those 4 things. But ask questions. He's open to basically anything. And that is an update show on Dragon Chain or Den topics specifically, right? So that's where to get your questions in for that. On Wednesday, I do a very casual coffee meetup, Coffee with Den, where it's open to anybody who wants to come in and click that link at 9 a.m. I should have said 11 a.m. for the Super Happy Dragon Lucky on Tuesday, 9 a.m. Wednesdays, Eastern. This is all Eastern time for the coffee show, right? And we basically just meet up and catch up and talk about Den stuff. And yesterday I played a little bit of No Man's Sky to show what it would look like to hide a seed phrase in a non-crypto, non-blockchain metaverse, to start like seeding the idea of being able to use crypto in any environment, whether it was meant for it or not, right? So that's Wednesdays. On Thursdays, there is World Blockchain Roundtable. That is 11 a.m. Eastern in the World Blockchain Roundtable layer. All 3 of those shows give some sort of reward for participation, is incentivized for you to go and participate in. World Blockchain Roundtable gives out lot ownership. I think actually all 3 of those give out lot. One for the Dragon Chain layer, one for the coffee layer, one for the World Blockchain layer. So do that, earn your rewards. There's a couple of things that you can do today with the World Blockchain layer. You can suggest topics for February, and you can vote on a proposal that is meant to decide on how to get rid of old topics that never got enough traction to make it, that's taken up space, kind of thing. So check that out. And then, of course, on today at this time, we do the DENDAO governance call where we talk about this stuff like we did today, which is also open to anybody. So with that, anything else, Greg? What do you think?
Sounds good to me, man. I think we covered it all. And yeah, thanks again for all the hard work to you and your team.
Cool. Thanks for the feedback. You're much appreciated. I have a feeling I'll be seeing you around Den a little bit more in the near future because of some of the things we're working on. So that'll be cool.
You got it, man. I'm excited.
I am for I am. Thank you for the input as well. And I'll talk to all of you next time I talk to you. Have a good one.
Because that goal will serve to organize and measure the best.
Adaptable, all capital, label radical yet rational. A tactical approach is palpable if this animal is fallible, but that conclusion is laughable. So with for all detachable from the mandible, you see it now.